G'day everyone, Audi555 here. Today's video I'm going to be installing the centre stand on a CFMOTO 450 MT. So this is the centre stand here. This is the factory purchased one from CFMOTO. Doesn't come standard with the bike, so it's an optional accessory. And I've just put the pieces together, just following the instruction manual, which is blowing away in the wind. So I'll just give you a quick look. That's what it all looks like here. I did have to apply grease inside those end parts there, as per the instructions, and it didn't actually come with this, I think it's an 8mm bolt right there, nut. But anyway, this is the instructions. It's pretty easy to follow if you read Chinese, because it's only in Chinese, unfortunately. All the other accessories I purchased have had a Chinese and English version of the manual in there, but this unfortunately doesn't. So the way I've been working through this is by using Google Lens with the translate function to work out what it says, and it's pretty easy to follow once you translate it into English. I did note when it comes to this step here, which is removing this bolt, that all of this water just started pouring out because this frame tube has actually got water inside it. Same with on the other side. So the only issue on the 450 MT, and I think in the future they're just going to drill holes in them so that way it drains out, and I'd be happy with that solution. But anyway, so far so good with the instructions. I did notice a typo. This says bolt 15, but then the picture has bolt 13. So it actually should be bolt 13 as per the picture. I have been using Loctite on all of the nuts, which is these two there, bolts, sorry, I always confuse nuts and bolts. Anyway, and I will be continuing using the Loctite, which is this thread locker, which is the blue one, on all of the nuts that I put on the bike, and bolts, nuts and bolts. Alright. So now that I've removed the stock bolt from here, you'll notice that there's a opening under here, and that's where these two bolts go in. The shorter one goes in this one, and the longer one, which is bolt number 13 in the illustration, goes here. I have put the thread locker in there, and I'll just put this top one on first. Now they put this one in. Just put them in loosely for now, tightened up about halfway so they don't fall out. That way I can still maneuver this around to get the other side in. Just around on the other side of the bike, and we've got to take this plastic bit off. And you got one hole there and another one under there. So I'm just going in now and tightening these bolts up all the way, and then I'll do the other side. Now the stand is in position, but as you can see it flops around because you still got to install the spring part. Got the split pins done a bit better there. Done a much better job pushing them in using some pliers. I would recommend doing that before you put the stand on, because it's going to be easier than trying to get a tool in, like a pair of pliers in between like I just had to. Ta-da, magic. This is very hard to do one-handed, so with the magic of editing, ta-da. And also, like magic, I found the missing bolt from the stand. It was actually inside the tube. So this is the nut, sorry, the missing nut goes in under there. Although I'll probably just put this on at the top. Also, to enhance my efficiency of putting these tubes on, I just sprayed it with silicone sealant, or silicone lubricant I should say. That worked great, and then they just slipped on. Now the difficult part begins. The difficult part is getting the spring to attach from that end to that end, because you can't just pull it. So I'll show you a cool trick that I actually did on that bike. Okay, maybe I'm missing something here, but I feel like this should have a bit more tension on it, because it's not actually holding the stand up. So I've got the springs on. What am I missing here? And for those that solved the mystery for me, well, I've got a spoiler for you, I've figured it out myself. So these brackets here have a teardrop shape. The narrow end goes to the outside and the wider end goes into the middle, just like this. So then that way, that will then go on there and have more pressure. And I know this is the fact because it says in the picture to do it that way, and if I only just listened, then I wouldn't be in this debacle. Alright, now the next bit comes where you've got to put this lower section onto that portion there, and as you can see, you can't just pull it and expect it to just fit on. You do actually need to apply a lot of rearward force to this to stretch the springs first. Ratchet strap around this post because I want an angle from there to where this will go, and got a rope around the screwdriver. It's just intertwined in that, attached to this ratchet. So that's all slightly tensioned up. You can see this is quite dangerous if you've got anyone behind you, and I suggest wearing gloves and eye protection. So the gist of it is that holds it in place. It pulls the tension on the two springs, and then you can just slot it onto that lug. You can see the angle I've got here is probably too steep, so I need to move that in. Maybe I'll be alright, we'll see. So all I've got to do is ratchet it up and put that over. The bike is in gear and all systems are go. See, that is now lined up. All I have to do is pull that screwdriver out and everything will be good. Release the tension from the bike by just pulling the clutch in, so that will disengage the gear. There we go. Voila. No blood and sweat and tears. A little bit of ingenuity, and that's now on there. Now I've just got to untie that rope and then I'll be able to get it out. That was just caught in underneath, wasn't actually tied to anything. Now the stand has been installed. Look at that. Good to go now. Well, there we go, that's the installation of the centre stand. Relatively straightforward, but these springs are the most difficult part in any centre stand installation, and luckily enough for me that ratchet strap trick worked, so I'm not complaining. But certainly if you don't have a ratchet strap or another method, or you're not very strong, you will find this bit difficult. So perhaps get the dealer to do it for you if you're not very mechanically minded, but otherwise not too bad just to do it on your own in the afternoon in the shed. Well, as usual, keep safe out there on the road, stay on two wheels and not on your head, and I'll see you all next time. Laters!